Welcome to the Future of Customer Service podcast. I'm Andrea Paulton from Inbenta, and I will be interviewing customer support and service professionals to see what is currently working well, what issues they're trying to overcome, and the future success of customer service. Hello, today we have Irene Griffin, Director of Customer Support from FranConnect. Thank you so much for being here, Irene. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do for FranConnect?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I've been with FranConnect for close to 4 years now, and I have served as the director of the customer support team during that time. So I oversee our customer support team that takes every single customer question that comes through the door. So whether it's product questions, enhancement requests, reporting questions, or God forbid a bug in the system, my team basically does first line support for everything that our customers have questions about. And so during that time, obviously a lot has changed, especially this year. We've grown to a bigger team in past years, and then this year we had to shrink a little bit. So we've had a variety of challenges in supporting our customers.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's because of COVID.
You betcha. It has been definitely, I think, an interesting year for everybody. I think most support teams have had to pivot in some way or another to do a little bit more with a little bit less. And so, it's been definitely an interesting journey this year, for sure.
Yeah.
COVID's definitely been a major factor in a lot of our changes.
Yeah, that is something that we've heard over and over and over again. And it's been interesting to see how people are dealing with it. You know, some people hire more support. Some people have to let go of support. Some people utilize tools. Some people get away from their tools. It's been very interesting to see how there's so many different ways to really get through this time. So Irene, I have a couple of questions for you. I'm going to start with question number 1. What have you done to promote great customer service in your organization?
I would say that the number one thing that's provided us with great customer service and high scores from our customers has been training our team with a sense of empathy and listening skills, and then also flexibility and autonomy in troubleshooting. So, we make sure that we onboard folks with great product training, that they understand what they're working with, that they understand the questions that are coming in from our customers. But beyond that, we make sure that, like I said, empathy is sort of the overlying structure for the way that they interact with customers. If somebody is calling support, they'd already rather be doing something else. They'd rather just be working, getting their job done. And so we make sure that there's always a friendly voice on the other end for our customers to be greeted by, and that folks beyond the product training and understanding the product that we're working on feel that the customers has a pain point, or they're struggling with something that wasn't obvious, that they didn't pick up in training, and that our team is really, really here to help and that we care. That's really been actually one of the key things that has been part of our success.
That is so awesome. That whole empathy thing, even when you get started with a phone call and you're empathetic, immediately the person on the other line just takes it down a notch, because they might be up here in their spirits and in their anxiety about the problem that they have. So I love that you guys do that. So let's talk a little bit more about limited resources. So we already touched upon that. And of course, right now, almost every company has limited resources in one way or the other. How is your organization managing either the lack of time or the lack of resources in customer support?
So I think we had to be creative, just like everybody else. We reassessed our goals based on reality, and we knew that our metrics were going to change based, to reflect the reality that we have. We had somewhat of a drop in tickets in March and April when, the whole world had to switch to working from home and everything just seemed very unknown. And we did have a furlough for some staff. So we had a smaller team and a slight drop in tickets. And then as things normalized a little bit, some of the ticket count went back up, but we weren't really able to build back that team quickly. So we looked within and we found team members from other departments to sort of pitch in and help out. And then we kind of reshuffled some of the so we refer to our teams as L1 and L2. So our level 1 support is frontline customer facing. And then the level 2 support tends to be more technical. They're the ones digging into issues. So we grabbed a few folks from L2 and put them into L1 positions. And it worked out really beautifully. In fact, it was a great way to sort of shift folks around and give them opportunity to learn new skills and push themselves into new positions that they didn't necessarily think they'd be ready for. So that's what we did. It was basically, we knew that our first time response wasn't going to be what it was before. And I think that, I think everybody from our customer base to our own, our executive team, I think everyone understood that it was just going to be a different landscape. And so it's worked out really nicely that way.
And Irene, how do you measure the success of your customer service organization?
So I believe NPS is king. If you're not familiar with it, it's Net Promoter Score. We survey every customer after every interaction with our support team. We use a shout out to Ask Nicely. That's the product that we use to do our surveys and to collect NPS scores. And I think that giving the customers a chance to weigh in with just a quick numerical value, 0 through 10, or and additionally add comments to us, that's the key way that we know whether or not our customers are happy. And that's a very quick way measuring. So we do measure NPS scores, and we are very high. We're in the upper 60s, which is pretty good. We also measure mean time to response. So the life of a ticket. We want to compare the different types of issues that we tackle and how long it takes on average to resolve those things. We're always striving for a quicker turnaround time and a quicker a resolution time. Sometimes it can't be helped. If you have a bug in the code and it's going to just take a couple of weeks because it has to go to development, has to get tested and rolled out to production, that's the level. But what we do to make sure that customers are happy is we have a high touch. We reach out to customers to say, we haven't forgotten about your item, and the ETA is such and such, and we just try to have a sort of a high transaction with them, just so they know that they're not forgotten. People will be very patient if you give them some ballpark and you keep them up to date as to what's going on. The worst thing you can do is keep your customers in the dark. Everyone understands things take time, so we try to be very high touch like that. And then first time response, that's another good measure. You can't hear back from somebody same business day. You're going to get the sense that the company doesn't care, and so we work really hard to make sure that people know that we're here to help.
Yeah, that's really good. How do you measure things daily, weekly, monthly, or how often do you measure?
So I do like a monthly mean time to resolution report, because that gives me an ability to kind of stand back and read tea leaves out of that. Same thing with the first time response, but NPS we look at basically every day. And of course, I do a monthly report on that as well, but NPS is something I kind of can see ticking up or ticking down. I also look by customer as well as by team member. So there's different ways to know how people are performing and which customers might be in trouble or which ones can be evangelists for us. And then we make sure that our sales team and our customer success team can reach out to those folks that are particularly excited for referral. So I think that's a common thing to do.
Good. So next, either you personally or you as a company, how is AI, so how is artificial intelligence changing customer service in your opinion?
We are looking to leverage bots, and we do use Zendesk, which is industry standard. It's an amazing product. I love those guys. And we do have an answer bot that we've looked at and we've leveraged just a little bit for FAQs. I think right now for the business that we're in, it's not there yet. I would love for AI to grow to the point where it can solve more complex problems. I think it's pretty good if you have fairly straightforward and simple questions that customers come in with. But for us, we tend to be a more complex product. So I don't know that it's ready for us, but I hope that it gets ready for us.
Good. And then my last question to you, Irene, is what is the number one advice that you have for customer service departments?
My number one advice is give your people the task of creative problem solving and let them have a personality. It is a rough job some days to be in customer support and to be in customer service and to have that smile on for customers that aren't always super nice and are in themselves in stress situations. So I would say, give your team autonomy and flexibility in troubleshooting and let them be themselves so that they can bring their own individual talents to the game. And that doesn't mean don't, script them to give them that cornerstone, that foundation of knowing how to perform on the job. But I think giving them a little bit of freedom to be humorous and to especially to bring their own style of empathy. I think that's it. I think that's the way to go.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, because then you're talking to a real person when you have that personality come through. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. I had a great time. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in. This podcast was brought to you by Inbenta. Inbenta Symbolic AI implements natural language processing that requires no training data with Inbenta's extensive lexicon and patented algorithms. Check out this robust customer interaction platform for your AI needs, from chatbots to search to knowledge centers and messenger platforms. Just go to our website to request a demo at inbenta.com. That's INBENTA.com. And if you liked what you heard today, please be sure to subscribe to this podcast and leave us a review. Thank you.